Good evening, everyone, and welcome to WCONA Live, the reading series of the Writers' Conference of Northern Appalachia. I'm Damian Dressick, and this is my co-host,
Christina Fasonic. Happy New Year, everybody. We're so glad that you could join us tonight. We have 4 brand spanking new writers for everybody to listen to tonight, and we're really, really excited. Damian, would you like to start us off?
I am. First, I want to thank my co-host, Christina Fasonic, for thinking of this new year, new writers. We've had such a great first year here at WCONA Live. We've had the opportunity to present National Book Award finalists. We have had an opportunity to present 3 poet laureate. We've had Penn Award finalists. We have had faculty at some of the leading MFA programs in the region. And one of the things that's really important to remember is every single one of these people started as what my friend Tayari Jones refers to as a baby writer. So you gotta, I think, get those initial contacts. So we're so happy to be able to function as a platform for some of these up and coming, emerging writers from our region. We're so happy to have the opportunity to bring their work to you. So we're going to kick it off with Nate Ricketts. He is representing Penn State. He is a poet from Pittsburgh and a fifth-year student in the BA-MA program in creative writing. He's currently working on his master's thesis. It's a chap-book length collection of poems focused on class, struggle, and environmental politics in the Rust Belt. Can we bring on Nate?
Absolutely.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Damian and Christina, for hosting, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah, welcome. So what do you have for us tonight?
The first poem is called Song for Inherited Teeth. So,
all right.
We are going to disappear and let you do some reading.
Sure. Song for Inherited Teeth. Our mythologies are in our mouths. In mine, old world famine, 4 walls for whole families, stories nestled between cracked, crooked teeth. The dentist reads me through a microscope and asks about flossing. Look, my teeth aren't just mine. Whole histories hide in my mouth. The one I inherited from my father and his mother, who testifies I'll never lose my sight, but I'll pay for my teeth, stained and crooked like the family dentist who double-dipped on our 2 union insurance plans, history that rotted in my father's mouth and died in his throat. Now I have my own plastic card, courtesy of the university. I've quit the candy and Coke to keep at least a few crooked teeth, so when the new dentist asks about flossing again, I'll tell him yes, then wonder if he can read the stories between these crooked teeth, the genealogies I own in my mouth. So that's that one. The next one is called Andy Warhol for Young Pittsburgh Artists, and it's an imitation poem of Peter Aresic, who is one of my favorite writers from Pittsburgh. So Andy Warhol for Young Pittsburgh Artists. I can't blame you for leaving, Andy. This place fucking sucks. I need to move to New York so I can get a breath of fresh air or something. I mean, you hopped cities and you're an icon now. Let me fill you in. They filmed a real Batman movie here, and all the mills have moved to China. The air got cleaner, but the Catholics all left. Oh, and they built you a museum filled with your prints and films. Batman Dracula's the best, or Poor Little Rich Girl. I stand and watch them for hours like a Byzantine Catholic because they never built pews. Your museum's great for dates. Chicks love taking Instagram pics. I made out with some rich girl by the mouths for a little. She couldn't stand that he was watching, so we stopped and went to the Campbell's cans. How'd you do it, Andy? You just made prints out of pics of chicks like Liz and Jackie, and you're an icon now. You mean more to the city than ketchup or steel. That all stopped, but I went to Target and saw Campbell's can t-shirts for $15. I guess you never really left, Andy. Plus, you're buried here. All right. The next one is My Father the Foreman. It's a sonnet. I should add that the last 2 poems were a villanelle and a pantoum, so I've been kind of trying to push myself to write more formalist stuff, but here's a sonnet. My Father the Foreman. I knew him first as the apprentice, whose wage wasn't much, so he drove home with buckets of scrap from the job site in his rusted truck's bed. It was the union way. The journeyman didn't forget. Something to supplement the new truck fund. When I was at his hip, he taught me to strip wire, to grip a razor tight and always cut away from the body. We strip less wire now. He drives a hatchback to work, gives the copper to kids with kids at home. He says he orders more than the company needs, that it's easier to cut wire than to extend it. Plus, sons should learn to use a knife. And the final one I have for you is called Rap Shit. I have a lot of friends in the audience, so thanks to them for coming. And they always tell me that this is their favorite poem, so this is for them. Rap Shit. Chuck blows black scum from refrigerator vents. It's just lime scum buildup, not sewage or shit, not anything to be afraid of. He can't believe how much these people pay for new fridges when it's usually just a big wad of black scum. Seen it 100 times. He can't believe how long people sit in football traffic to watch a team lose. You see it every Sunday. Brainwashed, he says. He can't believe how much people pay for nosebleed tickets. Hundreds of dollars. Juju's in the news again. Big signing bonus this time around. He can't believe how much these guys get paid. He'd have to work 100 years. He'd rather pay double to see the Stones or something, he says. Just not any of that rap shit. And that's it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Very cool. All right.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Very cool. Stick around. We'll be back with you at the end. All right. So our next reader is Matthew Doherty, representing West Virginia University. Matt grew up in Ohio. He's a third-year fiction student in the MFA program there. His stories have appeared in Salamander, Sonora Review, and Crab Orchard Review, all as contest winners. He also enjoys writing and performing original songs under the artist name Matt Skerk. So let's bring out Matthew Doherty. That is Nate Ricketts.
Sorry, Nate. We usually only have one writer on.
No worries.
How are
No
you
worries.
this evening?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We
We're
are
great.
great.
Good.
So
Well,
great for us tonight.
yeah, thank you so much for having me. I am finishing up a novel at WVU, so I thought I would try to read the first couple pages of it. So I will get going here. A quick shout out to John and Lisa in Cedarburg, and of course my family downstairs hanging out. So anyways, this is the first couple pages. It's about a teacher.
What's the novel, Matt?
What's that?
What's the name of the novel?
Oh, the name of the novel. Good question. It's either going to be I Swear the Grass is Greener or Field Guide to Tree, Ohio. And Tree, Ohio is the name of the fictional town in Southeast Ohio. So one of those two, still kind of debating.
Those are great. All right, we're going to disappear and let you do your reading.
Thank you. All right. I'll try to be quick here. So it begins. So I want to try and explain what I did. Not to justify or make excuses. I just want to illustrate my circumstances. Nobody does a bad thing for no reason. If you're on the fence about me, find Cheryl. Talk to Cheryl. Late 90s, college. I sipped my 4th or 5th gin and tonic at the bar, wedged between meaty arms and jagged elbows. My friends had dwindled and then disappeared that night, courtesy of greasy paper plate pizza slices or girls who'd oblige them in drunken laughter and maybe more. I couldn't recall the name of this joint that I stumbled into, but there were 2 shabby pool tables and plenty of inflated muscles. Columbus, Ohio was pumped with testosterone. Tom Petty's caw intertwined with sports announcers' approval. First down Buckeyes. Shouts erupted. Funny part was the game was a rerun from earlier. Still, high fives, hell yeahs, and an OH-I-O filled the bar. Here was a girl, skinny fingers with cheap gold rings, tapping her nails on the wood of the bar. It had to be nearing midnight, so I ordered a Jolt Cola with rum. What do you think of this game? She asked, eyebrows gesturing toward the TVs. I couldn't care less, I said, shaking up the ice in my glass with a little straw. Don't care about sports, not even the Buckeyes. That's what I was hoping you'd say, she said. Now that I will cheers to. She held up her glass and we clinked drinks. We bonded in our apathy, laughed at the failed trick shots attempted at the pool table, rolled our eyes at the grizzly bear cheers when our team scored a touchdown, Time like liquid was pouring, and after another hard jolt cola, she leaned in and shouted into my ear, "I'm really tired of this." I looked at her, and for the first time, I noticed the stark black makeup around her eyes, how extreme it was. Like her eyes were night, but her face was day. She wasn't just talking about the bar, the men, and the sports. There was something else. "Hold that thought," I said, touching her shoulder before walking away. I navigated the crowd, got poked in the appendix with a pool stick, staggered my way to the bathroom, gave a great sigh, and stared aimlessly at wordless writing. I could have stood there in my solitude for quite a while, but calloused hands clenched my shoulders and twisted me around. My hand whacked the metal flusher stick. Before me stood a frowning, burly man with bloodshot eyes. He powered up a shove, and he sent me into the urinal. My neck shot back like I was on a wooden coaster. Now my ass was collecting water and pee. I remember thinking, what's burly man going to say? Stay away from my girl? Or go home, fudge packer? Hoping for the former. As he pushed open the swinging door, no-name band flyers plastered on the aluminum, he said that I should lose a few pounds and grow a couple inches if I thought I could get with her. Good, I thought. Phew. I think I'll stop there. But once again, just thank you so much and Happy New Year.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
That was awesome. Thank you. We'll see you in a few minutes.
All righty.
Okay, who is next?
All right, representing Chatham University's MFA program, we have Arista Rawat Engineer, a poet and fiction writer whose work explores questions that arise from the confluence of worlds, modernity and tradition, language and culture, myth and literature. She is from Pune, India, and loves being in Pittsburgh because she's always lived in places that begin with P.
That's really great.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, before I was in Pittsburgh, I was over in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, there you go.
It really worked out.
Who's up next?
Who knows?
All
All right. Well, I have two poems for you, all of you today, both of which were written.
Do your thing.
Yeah, we're going to disappear and let you read.
All right. Well, both of these poems were written in 2020, so we can imagine the atmosphere. You realize overextended is the word you've been looking for. Mother, I am the sky, stretched across creation. I am pleasant and all-encompassing. I have no need of Atlas. I hold myself up and shelter those in my care. I am not, however, firmament. There is nothing stable about this. All is ripple. Mother, I am a circus tent, jovial dome pulled taut with strings. I dress myself brightly so you may not know I am fraying. Mother, send in the clowns. What good can it do trapeze artists to also have to fight wind and rain? I am not a trapeze artist or riding a unicycle on a tightrope. I am not the daredevil on the motorbike. I am frequently the metal sphere his tricks are performed in, but I am not the tricks or the sparks to coax excited gasps from a crowd. I am not even at times, the fool. Mother, I think I have to be the roof, strong, secure, and not requiring repair. Who's ever heard of maintenance for the sky? My only comfort is that permanence is a myth, and we shall have to relinquish our titles before long. Mother, I may not be built to last. Where are the clowns? This second poem is called Or What Passes for a Good Time These Days. Let's hang out, like pink nail polish, innocuous, mundane, invisible. Let's hang out like we do it every day and will again tomorrow. Let's rest our foreheads against cold window panes in rooms designed to keep the summer out. Come in from the heat, air condition with me. Quiet with me. The world is made up of too much sound, almost all of it coming from our screens. If we must make sound, then I guess we can be lo-fi beats. Come, pink nail polish with me. Let us melt away from the crowd and not be thought of again. It's a very specific kind of pink, I mean, the first fresh layer of skin over an old wound, like periwinkles that don't root in graveyards. Let us not make a statement. That which is named flower of death, unassuming, unnoticed, has done nothing to claim such titles and is as generic as any child's imagination. 5-petaled, darker in the middle, nestled in green. Come, periwinkle with me. We are better off as flowers. Maybe I'm not painting this right. Do you see it? The lightest dusting of blush, like that JCat highlighter you debuted the day the sunlight fell just so across your cheekbones, and you were beautiful. No, let nostalgia be unnecessary. You are always beautiful. I imagine you, even now, being beautiful in a boiling, toiling world. But let us not need to make a statement. Pink nail polish with me. Innocuous, mundane, at ease. Thank you.
Thank you very
Great
much.
stuff. Great stuff.
That was awesome. So,
Stick around.
Yes, don't leave. We have one more writer for tonight.
We do. What we have is somebody who is a recent graduate representing Carlow University's MFA program, Doraleo Brooks, who lives in Pittsburgh, and her poems have appeared in Voices from the Attic, the Patterson Literary Review, the Dos Passos Literary Review, Pittsburgh Poetry Review, among others. Her chapbook, When I Hold You Up to the Light, won the 2019 Kathy Smith Bowers Chapbook Contest and was published by Main Street Rag. So let's bring on Doraleo Brooks.
Awesome. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
And thank you. Thank you for this. Poetry on New Year's Eve. What could be better?
Right. What are you going to read for us tonight?
I have one poem that I'm going to read. It's a series poem. It's called What She Wore.
Excellent.
And each section of the poem begins with those words, what she wore.
Oh,
Cool.
Awesome. We'll see you in a
Okay.
minute.
All right. The poem begins with an epigraph. No one wonders what Lyndon and I wear. JFK, November 22nd, 1963. What she wore for America's libraries. Court lines white as your leather shoes. Your right arm stretches along stitched net in afternoon sun, bright as blonde braids, big smile. Posing for America's libraries in decidedly off-court attire, bell-bottom jeans, halter top, jeweled navel. You hold a raisin in the sun in left hand. You, Serena, 22 and pre-Alexis, pre-Olympia, pre-slam win, 23. Yellow block letters, tall as you, scroll down the page, calling to read. What she wore at the 2019 US Open. Scythian sisters, Hippolyta and Antiope, draw from the quiver when Naomi Osaka, warrior woman in black pleated skirt, orange bodice, considers the serve, delivers lineage power. No wonder Mark Knight and Cup Noodle try to color her white, bind curls into straight-haired ponytail, sketch dimensions they don't fear. What she wore to host SNL. Lizzo eschews hoops and loops, brings her own round to elegantly vowed syllables. Dressed in slits, zips, buckles, and belts, the L-I-double-Z-O, so Lizzo swings synchronized steps to I do my hair toss, check my nails, baby, how you feelin'? What she wore to Longworth House, D.C. And the category is executive, civil servant. Walk media flash, unfortunate sensible pumps. Did you say you work for Trump? The woman was bad news, he said on a beautiful call, on a perfect call. She's going to go through some things. Hermes, sharp as emblazoned sabers, stairs, suits to stone. Crystal flag brooch lit as a voodoo prayer signifies, don't come for me, signifies challenge from house of the deep state to house of Trump. He's so rich. And this is the last section. What she wore at the Republican National Convention. Straight as a podium in Reagan red. Don Jr.'s girlfriend, Kimberly Guilfoyle. Red as a Disney villain, arms outstretched in Perone parody. It's hard to believe the photo rounding. Young Guilfoyle snuggling on a rug with Newsom. Is it true? I want to say fake news. Straight as a podium in Republican red. Red as fear. Red as pandemic. Red as a knee on the neck, as 7 bullets in the back, red as ritual of public mourning, red as protest, as the AR-15 supremacy offensive, as Chicago, New York, Portland, St. Louis, Kenosha, as ghosts who howl into a night without curfew, justice for George Floyd, say her name, Breonna Taylor. Let the convention games begin. Let the games end nights after her speech. Let it mark a strikeout. No playoffs, NBA, not even baseball. After 42 seconds of silence, Mets and Marlins leave home plate. Leave home plate wears a Black Lives Matter tee. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Let's bring on all of the writers. Hello, everybody. That was so great.
Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely a lot of terrific writing going on in the region. So pleased that you guys were able to come on and read for us, and what wonderful work. Matt, I love the idea of history in our mouths. I had never thought of that idea. Nate, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I was reading my notes here, and I love that stuff. It was great.
I really love that line too, and I wrote it down, and I kept thinking about, you know, the stereotype about Appalachians and, you know, their skull and Mountain Dew-ridden teeth and that whole, and the weight of it and how it shows the economy and your social class and all of these things. So I really, really enjoyed that poem very much, Nate.
Thank you very much.
Sure, it was great. Would you have more to add?
No. I have other things to say to other people.
Oh yeah, me too.
Arista, that was such terrific work. I love your linguistic dexterity, and there's such a smartness to your work. It was such lovely stuff. I was excited when I saw what your bio talking about this confluence of modernity and tradition. It's something that I think a lot of us think about in our work. And I really liked what you did there. That was terrific stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I really love the line firmament. There's nothing stable about this, and if there's anything that says anything about this time we're in, there's nothing stable about this. And I appreciated too the imagery and the color and all of those things were just really stunning about your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
And how about Matt? I do have some things to say about your writing too. I love the line, "Nobody does a bad thing for no reason." And it made me think, is that true? And what is a bad thing?
That's a great question. Hopefully someday, if I'm lucky and my fingers are crossed and the book comes out, maybe you'll find out, right?
I also thought her eyes were night and her face was day was really wonderful, because that totally described that look, both the physical look, but also the look of that person. That was really wonderful. Very great.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So we haven't talked about Doraleo's work yet.
No. Well, I love the epigram. That is so like, it was almost like a little tuning fork, like, oh, I know exactly what direction we're going to go down. I'm very, very well prepared for this. I love that. And I think I love the poem that you were using the red. I think one of the most difficult things to do in writing is address political issues without being didactic. While you're still like pulling people in, and I kept like, oh, this is so good, this is so good, this is so good, and I never, I always felt like, oh yeah, this is like you're always saying something that I haven't thought of before. And maybe that's the key, never to being didactic. I just thought of that. It made me on.
Well, I'm always worried because I've been writing these poems that revolve around fashion, and I'm always worried that people will think they're kind of superficial and they're really about fashion when they're really not.
No,
they're about a lot more than that. Yeah.
No, I didn't think about that, but it leads me, like my major figure for my PhD nonsense was Jean Reese, and like her writing often deals with women's identity and fashion. This is like there's a lot of critical work around this. So absolutely,
Well, that's great. I have to look up your work. I have to read that now.
Well, and I don't know about anybody else in our audience, but when you got to the Lizzo part, all I could think of was good as hell. So I really enjoyed that too, especially as someone who thinks a lot about women's bodies and the things that are done and that we do to women's bodies to make them acceptable in every arena. I mean, places where the body shouldn't matter, the appearance of the body shouldn't matter, it's still important for women. And I really, really enjoyed that. Before we end tonight, I have a burning question for all of you. So when most of us Northern Appalachian writers were sort of coming up through our, teething stages of writing, if we want to use Damien's metaphor about the baby stage of writing, many of us felt that we didn't have a community of writers or a sense of what it meant to even be a writer from Northern Appalachia or a writer writing about this region. And so I'm just wondering, how is it for all of you as newly minted or nearly newly minted MFAs? How have you found your community? Have you found other voices like yours or that are familiar to you?
I can go first. I guess I was sort of lucky enough to work under the advice of Professor Julius Spiker-Kasdorf, who's another Northern Appalachian writer. So she works here at Penn State, and I think as soon as I sort of showed any interest in sort of like the literature from our region, I think she really saw that and gave me recommendations upon recommendations. And I sort of like found I guess you could say the community that way. Just sort of going back through, writers from Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania, where I'm from, and sort of just exploring them in a little bit more depth. I found that super helpful, and I think that sort of informed like much of my poetic today. So
that's awesome. When I was in graduate school, I didn't know what Appalachia was. I mean, really, like it took a while. So that's fascinating. How about the rest of you?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kukwin. And I grew up outside of Cleveland, Ohio. So and that's where I grew up, of course, which is not Appalachia. So, and then when I went to college, I went down to Athens at Ohio University.
Bobcats!
Oh yeah, go Bobcats! And my mom's family, my grandpa was a coal miner in Sagamore, Pennsylvania. So whether it was at OU in Athens or then of course in Morgantown in West Virginia, it did feel a little bit just like, whether it's through some of my professors, I got to give a shout out to Glenn Taylor and just other folks from West Virginia. It kind of felt a little bit like just kind of returning to roots a bit, or just kind of feeling that natural affinity for the land. So it's been so great to just, I mean, even one of the characters in the novel is a woman who like my mom, her family's from rural PA and went to college at age like 47, was the first person in her family. So it's just been really a privilege to kind of work with people from the region and just kind of get more in tune with that.
That's so great. I love that. I love it. That's awesome.
I think I'll echo pretty much the same of what has been said. The MFA has really been, to me, one of my goals in doing an MFA and joining one of these programs has been to build that community. Yes. And it has done exactly that. And I've had so much fun because I am relatively new to the region, having been in many different parts of the world. To have, for example, one of my classmates has always lived in and grown up in Pennsylvania, and her work is so connected to the earth of that and the stories that I am learning about this place by being here, but also through her work. And it's amazing to have these different lenses to see new parts of the world. It's been really rewarding.
That's awesome.
Well, I think Pittsburgh is really rich with so many opportunities and resources, and the Mad Women in the Attic program that nurtures women, writers in particular, especially community women, women outside of universities, although, many university women are involved in Mad Women as well. And Jan Beatty directs that program, and it's housed at Carlo. And I really came to the MFA through the Mad Women. And so I'm really fortunate to have that connection and that experience. And more, there are forums like the one that you're providing for us right now, Damien and Christina. The work you're doing is really, really important and really great, and I'm very grateful for it.
Oh, thank you. No, Pittsburgh is a great literary town, and much more so than it was, say, 20 or 30 years ago. We have been fortunate enough to have some of the Mad Women. We've had Donna Zarilla on. We've had Kayla Sargentson. And Kayla also, she hosts the Laser Cat series at White Whale. So yeah, there's so many venues, and that's part of what we're thinking with this is, with some of those venues having some difficulty with what was going on this year in terms of the pandemic, creating a space where people can go to see good writing and to get their work out there. There's a lot going on in town. It's
yeah.
And we can't wait until it's safe to go out again and we can all be together. in person, because we love meeting writers and talking with writers on the show, but it's not the same as, you know, listening to someone read and watching their gestures and, you know, just being there, sitting next to each other in the room together. But we're so grateful that we have the technology to do what we've been able to do since March. It's been a great year in that way, don't you think?
It has. It has. We are very much looking forward to when WCONA Live can be actually live.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We put ourselves on the road and
we
writers.
Will, yes. So we'll be broadcasting we'll be doing live readings, but then we'll be broadcasting to our WCONA Live audience as well.
Yes.
So best of both worlds. All right. Well,
yes.
Thanks everybody for coming on tonight, sharing your New Year's Eve with us. Thanks to everybody who's watching.
Yeah.
Sure. Also giving, you know, using your time to watch some of these terrific writers, up and coming writers, emerging writers, and we will see you next week.
Yes, next year, right? That's how the old.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks
so
again.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy New
Thank you.
Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Bye.
From WCONA Live.